Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply, and this video is to bring you a closer look at the Hager number 330M US26 bright chrome privacy pocket door latch is what this is. So the 330M is representative of the fact that this is Hager's pocket door set that's a privacy that you would use in a bedroom, bathroom, etc. That means that this is going to incorporate an edge pull, okay, and then of course an exterior emergency release, and then the interior latch. And as I rotate that latch, you can see the hook come out. This piece of cardboard that's back here that's stabilizing it, it's a bit in the way. That's the operation, okay? Very typical and common for residential applications, ubiquitous. You're going to see these latches in homes for pocket doors. You'll even see them in commercial settings when ADA compliance is not required, and is in a US26 or polished chrome finish, available in all of the common finishes, your brasses, your bronze, your chromes, polished satin, things of that nature. This is compliant with an 1 3/4 door, and that specifically means that the length of the pin that is right at the tip of my finger and these two tail pieces that are here, that pin is long enough to sit in the bird's mouth preparation in those tail pieces so that the emergency release or the turn will operate the hook that comes out and locks. Dimensionally, let's go over that. Hager has this at 2 3/4 tall and then 2.5 inch wide. That is indeed the case. Comes with a strike plate naturally. Take note that that prep in the strike plate is not symmetrical from either end. We'll talk about that in a moment. Screws are included. You'll need a total of 4, 2 for the strike and then 2 for the lock body. There's a link below this video to the installation instructions, and let's get into that next. They are included, by the way, with your hardware. They'll be packaged with it. What we're dealing with is a 2-page document that's here. Page 1 is really a technical drawing of the item, giving you a list of those items that are included, the strike, etc., all the dimensional properties. You'll take note in the upper left-hand corner the part of the strike plate that shows how that cutout is justified to the top of the strike on that image. Page 2 are the installation instructions, really, that matter. You can see that you need a notch, 1 7/8 deep by 2 5/16 tall. And how to go about, if you're doing a new installation, how to go about it, installing for this. It depends on the tool you have. I would always opt to use a router, but that's only because that's my preference. A lot of people would certainly use a jigsaw, I suppose they could. I'm just more comfortable using a router, so that's what I would use, and then square those corners out to the point where it was necessary for the hardware. Cut notch in the door at the desired height. You're going to want to audit the rest of the doors in the space, just to make sure if it's a new installation you're matching the existing height. You want to look at that. You're going to want all your lock heights to be the same. You might have an application where there's a long hallway and you've got 2 pocket doors on either side down in the middle of a series of doors that might have traditional levers. You're just going to want the line of sight naturally to be all compatible so that it looked like it all belonged together. After you've got your notch prepped, and if you have any questions on how to prep for that notch, feel free to reach out. I've done it more times than I can recount. Preparation is going to be notch created. You'll loosen the 2 screws on either side, get the unit over the edge of the door, mark your 2 holes, remove the unit, pre-drill your holes, and I like to put like a 2-degree bevel or angle on that pre-drill, just so that when I get the unit slid back over, I'll tighten these 2 screws to get it held to the door, and then when I run the screw in, as the flat head of the screw hits the countersink, it will ever so slightly just pull the hardware taut onto the edge of the door. So that's how I do it. Prep for the strike. Now, the important part of that is really just marking the center line on the frame so that latch and the strike line up. using the center line, using the center lines as a guide, mark around the strike, mortise the strike outline with a chisel 3/64 of an inch deep. So the strike will be justified towards the top, and the reason it's not in the center line is because how that hook kind of comes out and then down. So it will need room up at the top of the strike to come up and down. That's the point. The center line of the lock body and the center line of the strike are the same. You'll need to transpose those dimensions as best you can to determine, an equal center line. Meaning, from the underside of the header on the jamb, you're going to need to justify that dimension over to the door, whatever you're going to account for the hanger, the track, etc. Or however you're going to go about doing it, is the important part. Measuring is how I would go about doing it. Mortising for the strike, I would prefer a router as well. It's just that this is incredibly thin, and it's really about too thin for anything for a router to really do. 3/64 of an inch is, less than a 1/16, so it's minuscule. You'll probably just want to score around and then just clean it out a little bit with a hand chisel. Pre-drill your holes for the screws, pre-drill always, and then run your screws in, test for operation, etc. You're going to need to drill that 15/16 hole that they're showing there, just 1/2 inch deep. Don't make it any deeper. It would be really nice that you don't breach through the frame itself, because there is no dust box that will go behind the strike, nothing to dress that off. So you want it to look as clean as possible. Bottom portion of the installation instruction, page 2, is the reversing that needs to occur. It's 50-50 chance you're going to have to reverse the lock, which is really nothing other than removing the screws and taking the plates and just swapping them for each other. Right now, obviously, this is going to be set for only, a door that would, from my perspective or your perspective, just go to the right. Okay, you might have to reverse it, and those instructions are there for doing so. Hager is synonymous with all things trim and auxiliary hardware related. Not only typical residential hardware like this, but door stops and kick plates and push and pull hardware. But not only that, a comprehensive offering of weather stripping, aluminum continuous geared hinges, pocket door track and hangers, kits that you would use with this, exit devices, lock sets, door closers, but it's their namesake, Hager hinge, that they're most widely known for. Anything institutional, architectural, commercial hinge, and residential, that's what Hager does. The inside joke that we have here, they've been around since before the pistol, and while they're not technically that old, Hager is a name that has been in the hardware industry for well over 100 years. I don't know the actual count. So, if you have any questions on the Hager 330M pocket door privacy set, and US26 bright chrome, or any other Hager products, please feel free to reach out to us.